Hello, family of Rotary, and welcome to our Zoom formation call for zones 34 and 33 and more. Today is Monday, February the 1st, and I'm delighted to see so many of you on the call today because we really have a very special program that honors our Rotary theme for the month. February is the month in which Rotary celebrates peace, peace and conflict resolution, peace and conflict prevention, peace education, and promoting peace. And today we're very excited that we have an excellent program as well as a very special cameo guest. So let me start by introducing that guest today. Chris Offer is a member of the Rotary Peace Centers Committee. And next year, he will begin his term as vice chair of that committee. He is a Rotary Positive Peace activator, and he is an Institute for Economics and Peace ambassador. He just completed a 3-year term as chair of the Rotary Peace Major Gifts Initiative Committee. He has been on a variety of Rotary committees involving training, fundraising, and membership development. So he is all about Rotary. He's been a Rotary volunteer in Philippines, Russia, China, Laos, and India. And in 2016, he was a part of a team that included the World Health Organization, the Centers for Disease Control, and the Gates Foundation that evaluated polio surveillance in Nigeria. He also did similar work in South Sudan and Sudan. Chris retired from the Vancouver Police after 31 years of police service. He has been in a variety of senior operational administration positions in law enforcement, and he retired as a district commander. So we are very pleased to have today as our special cameo guest, Chris Offer. Chris, I'm going to turn things over to you.
Thank you very much, Stephanie. I appreciate it, and great opportunity to be here with you this morning. So I've just got a few minutes, so I'm going to talk briefly about our peace centers, give you an update on what's happening, the impact of COVID on our centers. We have an alumni of 1,300 around. Over 1,300 alumni now working around the world. So we're really doing remarkable work. Rotary's history of peacemaking, I'm not going to go into this detail. I will point out that 2021 is our 100th anniversary of the Fourth Avenue, or the fourth object of Rotary, Halifax Rotarian Donald McRae at the Edinburgh Convention in 1921 proposed that. And what seems like altruistic motherhood today was actually controversial in 1921. This moved Rotary from being a local only institution, community organization to international at a time post World War I where the world was retrenching into not wanting to be involved globally. So it was quite historic. Of course, UNESCO, the United Nations, you're familiar with that important milestone, 1999, the Rotary Peace Centers with the first class 2004. And I think 2017 is a seminal date for Rotary's peace because our partnership with the Institute for Economics and Peace set forth. And I think that is the time when we stop being just advocates of peace and became actually peacemakers, far more involved in projects. Last year, our newest peace center and the first class starting literally this week in Uganda at the Makerere University, our peace centers, possibly today. I know this week, the first class ever at that peace center in Africa kicks off online and then actually in person. We have our 2 programs, our 5 peace centers that deliver master's programs in the USA, United Kingdom, Sweden, Japan, and Australia, and our 2 professional certificate programs one in Thailand, and now in Makerere University in Uganda. And Makerere is going to really focus on African issues. So that's important for Rotary. It's important for Africa. And we expect a great deal from that Peace Center. So important thing. Let me quickly update on COVID, the impact of COVID on our Peace Centers. We've only had to cancel one program last year, the second course in Chulalongkorn in Thailand had to be postponed or canceled. We were able to accommodate all the students that wanted to. Actually, Rotary was able to pivot very well our Peace Centers because we had moved to online applications. We had moved to online review of applications when Peter Kyle chaired the Peace Centers Committee. He pushed to an online system, and that meant there was no change. We were already online for the applications and the review of those applications, and each of our Peace Centers were impacted by their local country rules, visa applications and everything. But all our Peace Centers are operating online. But think about what that means. If you're an American going to University of Queensland or Tokyo or Bradford in England, that may mean you're up at 3 or 4 a.m. to attend a class. The time zones don't always cooperate. So for an interview with one of your professors, you may get up after 11 o'clock at night or 6 o'clock in the morning. So our students are really pivoting uniquely to work on the Peace Center. So, but all our Peace Centers are operating very well. Our recruitment is going up every year. As you can see, the number of qualified candidates, this is just the qualified candidates. There's several thousands of applications. These are ones that meet the minimum qualifications. You see a slight reduction in certificate qualifications, but that really reflects more our where we try to recruit from. We keep a balance in our Peace Centers by our recruitment, going after areas where we want, whether it's Africa, Asia, male, female, to keep a reasonable balance in who our students are. So our qualified, unfortunately, we still get some districts, those that are their district leaders, we're still getting some districts sending forward unqualified candidates. If they're not qualified, say no. I think some districts don't want to say no to a candidate and therefore send the unqualified candidates forward, which delays it for several months and a disappointment. Tell them how they're not unqualified and don't send. This is a very competitive scholarship. It's getting more competitive every year. This class, a great profile of our current class, the number of finalists, the number of countries. We're happy with what we're getting. Our number of candidates up in Africa because of Makerere is important to us. Our gender balance is good and actually reflects universities today. Those that are in the university business know that this is typical of university enrollment, certainly in the United States and Canada, Western Europe. So it's a good balance. But this is what our current class is starting. As I said, Makerere starting with the new one-year program, and Thailand starting later this year into the new tier program. Applications, this is 1st of February, so applications open today. People can start applying. This is where your role comes in for your district. Remember, it doesn't cost your club anything. It doesn't cost the candidate anything. It doesn't cost, there's no DDF. There's no cost. This is endowed. This is funding from the World Fund, but mostly endowed from generous Rotarians that are making this possible. Rotary Foundation is investing about $5 million a year in this program, and it's paying big dividends. You can actually just send a name in. There's a referral form. If you know somebody is interested, you can simply send their contact information into Rotary, and Rotary will send them all the details how to apply. So good stuff going on there. Let me end with just 3 requests for each of you. Your your action steps. This is what I'd like each of you to do. If each of the, it looks like 78 people online right now, if each of us nominate one candidate in our community, they don't have to live or work in our community, they can be from anywhere in the world. If each one of you nominate a candidate from your community or your area or anywhere in the world, our program will be even stronger. I want you to engage with Peace Fellows. That doesn't just mean as speakers at your district events and your club. That means engage in Peace Fellows as consultants on peace projects. They're available. They've got the expertise. They got a wide range of expertise to work with you on projects, not just as speakers. So my second request is to engage with you. And my third request is for financial support, whether that's in your estate plans, wills and estates to leave funds to the peace centers, or making your annual gift. So I leave you with those three things. Thank you for your interest in the peace centers. We are making a difference, and we will continue to make a difference. This is an incredible program, and we really are on a tipping point where Rotary is moving from just being advocates for peace to being peace builders. I'll stop sharing there. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. That was a great overview, a great introduction of a fabulous program. And your passion, your enthusiasm for the program came through loud and clear. We are all excited about the potential of the Rotary Peace Centers program. And now it's my pleasure to introduce you to two real Rotary Peace Fellows. Anna Patel is the former Chief Executive of Outward Bound Peace Building, and Patricia Schaefer is the current Chief Executive of New Gen Peace Builders. Both these ladies have been heavily involved in peace building for many years, and they have come together with me and with others to put together an exciting new peace building initiative for zones 33 and 34. So without further ado, it's my great pleasure to invite Anna Patel to start telling you about this great program. Anna, it's over to you.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Fantastic. That is what I want to hear. Well, happy Rotary Peace and Conflict Resolution Month. I am really honored to start this month with you all celebrating Rotary's 100 plus commitment to peace building and advocating for peace. Chris Grace gave us a great overview of some of the history of that 100 years and brought me up to speed with what's happening in the class 2021 of Peace Fellows. It's exciting to see the many ways in which Rotary is really pursuing this goal of promoting peace, what I call really a peace ecosystem, Rotary's peace ecosystem. We have the Rotary Action Group for Peace, we have the peace building clubs, we have the partnerships that Chris also mentioned with the Institute of Economics and Peace and with the US Peace Corps. And most importantly, of course, what we just heard, the Rotary Peace Fellowship Program, which positions Rotary as the largest investor in global level and graduate level peace education in the world. All right. So as a Rotary Peace Fellow, I'm grateful to be a beneficiary of this commitment. I was a mid-career Peace Fellow in 2016 at the Rotary Peace Center in Chulalongkorn University in Thailand. I started in the field as a US Peace Corps volunteer and have worked and taught on issues related to peace building and human rights with the United Nations and other organizations across 4 continents. Most recently, I was honored to become part of Rotary's, what I call their diplomatic corps, as the first Rotary representative to UN Women, which is the UN entity for women's empowerment and gender equity. As a Peace Fellow and a peace builder and the leader of Outward Bound Peace Building, I believe that peace is possible. And I've been focused on innovative approaches to peace education and peace action for my entire career. So I am saddened and alarmed at the current trends towards violence, particularly in our own country. You can see here, and these numbers are from Rotary partner, the Institute of Economics and Peace, that the measures for peace are falling sharply and very much influenced by the situation in the United States. let me move. When Peter first approached me and my colleague Patricia and our team last April, he asked us to consider how we could use this opportunity of his directorship in zones 33 and 34 to leverage Rotary's expanding commitment and work in peace. The questions or challenges that Peter invited us to consider are the following. How do we leverage Rotary's growing expertise in peace education into action? How do we build on Rotary's focus on youth? And how do we work with multiple districts in zones 33 and 34 to offer a model of youth-led peace building? For us, this opportunity clearly needed to be built on Rotary's commitment to youth as well as peace. Why? This approach firmly is in line with the UN, the United Nations, focus on a culture of peace. From the UN perspective, a culture of peace first must be grounded in education. Second, this education is not just about peace, but education for peace, education that is grounded in action. And third, it must engage the largest, fastest growing demographic in the world, young people between the ages of 14 and 24. My colleague and Peace Fellow, Patricia Schaefer, brings deep expertise on the topic of youth-led peace work. She's a Rotary Peace Activator, just like Chris, and a Senior Fellow for Peace Education at the Alliance for Peace Building, which is a global network of peace-building organizations based in DC. Her organization, New Gen Peace Builders, has modeled teacher training and peace builder certification for youth service clubs, both in zones 33 and 34, as well as around the country and the world. Patricia will introduce the initiative, Youth Peace in Action, that we've been working on with Peter, and describe this opportunity for zones 33 and 34. We very much hope you'll join us for this month and for this journey, this peace education journey. Over to Patricia.
Thanks, Anna, and hello, everyone. Good to be with you. I was reminded, looking at that slide that Anna showed, of people at the Capitol on the day of the attempted takeover of the Capitol, that each morning we get up and the news tells us, reporters tell us, that we're living in a state of chaos and that democracy is threatened and needs to be greatly strengthened. And there's a great demand in the United States for a higher level of peace and resilience. But at the same time, I got up this morning thinking, this is a great day to be a Rotarian, to be a Rotary Peace Fellow, and to be an implementing partner with Rotary International Director for Zones 33-34, Peter Kyle, on this program called Youth and Peace in Action, Engaging 100,000 Young Peace Builders. 8 years ago, much to my surprise, I was chosen as a Rotary Peace Fellow and sent to Thailand. And at the time, the recognition was about my work in 3 countries in East Africa that have long histories of conflict. Indeed, one of them is South Sudan. And in the last 10 years, in my work in South Sudan has gone through a post-new nation status devolution into 2 civil wars. So that's where my work began, and that's where the Rotary Peace Fellowship opportunity and recognition began. But over the past 8 years, I'm delighted to say that the opportunities have really brought me back home. Meaning we are doing New Gen Peace Builders programs in many countries, but we also have a big emphasis and footprint here in the United States. And so to be doing this work with young people in the United States really matters, and probably matters more than ever. I really loved what Chris said when he said one of the things he's asking you to do is engage with Rotary Peace Fellows. And I am so grateful for the opportunity that Anna and I have to be invited to engage in helping zones 33 and 34 implement the Youth Peace and Action initiative with a goal of engaging 100,000 young peace builders. It's a tremendous opportunity, and what's been fantastic is this was an idea and vision of Peter's over 2 years ago, but 7 months ago, Anna and I were invited in to really join hands as implementing partners. And in that 7 months that we've been working on this, the sort of working team has expanded to include district governors, district governor-elects, peace chairs. I'm estimating that there have probably been in the last 7 months at least 200 people somehow touching and adding ideas to this program. And it's allowed us as Rotary Peace Fellows and implementing partners to take our expertise and think harder, think better, make it stronger with the wisdom of Rotarians at the local and district level, saying we really care about peace building, and here's how we can do this as a collective across the zones, but really never lose sight of our responsibilities to the unique communities that we live in. So that has been really tremendous. Today is a great day because it's February 1. It's the first day of Peace Building and Conflict Resolution Month, as Anna and those who have spoken before me have said. And it just occurs to me that Rotary is the only organization I know of still that has 1.2 million members, that has peace as an area of focus, that has what Anna often calls an ecosystem of peace and peace builders, that can have a video that says, let's join together and be a global force for peace. And so moving to the next slide, I want to underline again why zones 33 and 34 and this initiative, the signature initiative of engaging 100,000 young community peace builders makes sense. Because both in the United States and beyond the United States, there are some very unique characteristics of this zone that make it the perfect place to model and scale peace education. It's a geography of 150 million people in a country of over 300 million people, so significant population. The capital is here. There are organizations that have peace as a focus that are based in Washington, D.C. in our zones. We have more Rotary Peace Fellows in these two zones than any other place in the United States, and a disproportionate number of the 1,500 or so Rotary Peace Fellows that we have or about to have. Mediators Beyond Borders, a partner to Rotary, is based in this zone. They're headquartered in Pittsburgh. The UNC Duke Peace Centers are in North Carolina, the state where I live. There's an incredible number of schools and students in these zones. In fact, I like to say in Florida alone, there are 2,272 public high schools in Florida, and then there are about 500 or so private schools. We have a very diverse demographic profile, and there are so many interesting, important peace events or peace education events or peace-related activities that happen on a regular basis throughout the zones. So our zones are not newcomers to peace. What's new here is the opportunity to do a big collective initiative around peace education with young people. So moving to the next slide, what's really been fascinating is engaging with all of these district governors and district governor-elects and other contributors to the journey in the last 7 months. That has allowed us to really boil down what is this program and how will we get to 100,000 people in 18 months or 100,000 young people in 18 months. And so really with all these inputs, what we're now saying that on February 1, the first day of Peace Building and Conflict Resolution Month within Rotary, there are 3 components. The first component is essentially complete. We called it the established phase, and that was a period from July 20 through the end of December 2020, when we were doing lots of presentations and getting lots of inputs on whether pursuing peace education was a good idea. And an incredible 22 of the 31 districts in zones 33 and 34 committed and contributed in some way to establish the groundwork that makes the program possible. The second component we call equip, and that's really exciting because technically equip doesn't start until March 1st, though I have a little asterisk about that in a moment. And that's a period in which we can communicate with all the Rotarians in the districts that are choosing to participate and all the Rotarians across the zones about peace education, the fundamentals of peace education, why young people at the center, what the connection with the Institute for Economics and Peace and Positive Peace means, and give them the tools and templates to take to their local communities to engage with their communities, including educators and leaders at the local community level to understand this journey. And then the third piece is educate. And there are really 3 parts to educate. The idea that in the academic year 21-22, we will put an incredible emphasis on young people and educating them around peace building through a training and certification process that is based very much in the New Gen Peace Builders process, but it's more than that. Prior to that, we want to make everybody in these districts that are participating aware of this fantastic education journey. So what better thing to do than on September 21st, have a virtual engagement for the districts that are participating, including thousands of Rotarians and people they can invite to the event. And last but not least, teachers are magic when it comes to educating young people. They are the channel in. And so not only do we want to train and certify young peace builders, we want to support teachers in terms of peace education that comes alongside what they already teach, be it social studies and US history or environmental science. So that is really boiled down the journey that we're about to embark on March 1 through the end of basically June 2022, called Youth Peace in Action, Engaging 100,000 Young People. So what does it look like? I know several of you on the line have seen this video before, but what people tell me is, don't you talk about young people without showing them in action so people can see what peace projects led by young people really look like. So a little short video, about 4.5 minutes.
Many of the world's great peace leaders have pointed at the potential of young people. So, in February 2020, hopes ran high in greater Metro Charlotte, North Carolina, when 63 students from 20 high schools became the newest group to embark on the journey to become certified New Gen Peace Builders. To be certified, participants complete intensive learning workshops to understand drivers of conflict and peace, and then design and complete team action peace projects in at least one of these areas: awareness, service, advocacy, or philanthropy. The Greater Metro Charlotte group had just finished peace project planning in 8 teams. All systems were go. And then COVID-19 spread on a global scale. They faced this question: how can we work on peace projects with closed schools and stay-at-home restrictions? Incredibly, all 8 teams adapted, persevered, and used new virtual skills to do so. Here are highlights from 4 of the 8 projects that share one thing in common: a belief in education as an essential pathway to peace. A growing number of teenagers are expressing their fears that climate change threatens their future, and their frustrations are not taken seriously. In 2015, the United States EPA and USDA announced a 2030 goal to reduce food waste, landfill waste, and carbon emissions by 50%. The Lighter Footprints team discovered that US school cafeterias serve nearly 5 billion lunches every year in ways that add to the carbon footprint. So, the team partnered with Houston-based Footprint app and California-based Edible Schoolyards to develop an e-food feature that helps students advocate for sustainable food choices and lesson plans to make available to high schools in all 50 states. Data from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics indicates that the majority of the 20 fastest growing occupations between 2018 and 2028 will require completion of challenging science, technology, engineering, and math classes, or STEM. The All In for STEM team members realized that nearly all of them have a passion for STEM in common. They researched differences across race and ethnicity in who chooses STEM classes and careers, and learned that the earlier children experience engaging activities, the better. Children in low-income minority schools often miss out on these experiences. The team partnered with Heal Charlotte, a community-building nonprofit started in 2016 after protests in the city turned violent, with racial inequity at the core of the conflict. Team members designed and delivered STEM learning kits and delivered virtual lessons to young people in households served by Heal Charlotte. The No More Hotspots team focused on human trafficking of minors and learned that the state of North Carolina mandates schools to provide awareness instruction on human trafficking and sexual assault. The classroom content is not easily available or useful. Guided by an educator familiar with state education standards, the team developed an extensive human trafficking learning unit for high schools and a plan to present it to their local county board of education and the North Carolina Education Legislative Committee. Their bigger goal: a multidisciplinary unit available for use by high schools during Human Trafficking Awareness Month. It's been noted during the COVID-19 crisis that immigrants are at higher risk because many work in essential business service roles. Most official websites on COVID-19 protection measures are in English only, and protective face masks are not widely available to immigrant communities. The Helping Hands for Humanity team members from East Charlotte, the most diverse area of the city, were sensitive to the disparity. The team translated government COVID-19 postings into a multiple language website, recruited volunteers to sew protective masks and attach information about the website, collected donations to fund the effort, and partnered with local nonprofits serving refugees and immigrants to distribute the masks and information. These New Gen Peace Builders focus on what they care about, test their concerns with data, listen to community members, and become equipped to build bridges for the rest of their lives.
Great. So I'm betting every person on the Zoom this morning remembers that song by Cat Stevens, Ride on the Peace Train, or the Peace Train, or Peace Train, or Get on the Peace Train, depending on who you ask. We're going to invite you now to be on the Peace Train for the next 30 days and beyond, starting March 1. We've chosen that thematic because districts have been getting on the peace train with regard to youth and peace in action, engaging 100,000 young peace builders since late last year. I want to do a special call out to beyond those 22 districts who really committed to Peter Kyle to support the launch of this effort. Right now, we have a number, we think about 16 districts who have said, I'm seriously interested in being on the peace train too, and bringing peace education to my district. There are 4 that I'd like to do a special call out to: District 6900, District 6960, District 6930, and District 7545. For those who know their Rotary geography very well, that's Georgia, West Virginia, and 2 districts in Florida. All of them are already working. They've already committed funds. They've been forming working committees to bring peace education a la YPA to their districts, and they are great partners and advisors as we move along. So for the next 30 days, there's going to be a lot going on, and I'd like to invite Anna to close out and tell you what she thinks of when she thinks about getting on the peace train.
Great. Well, what we're doing actually today, and through many of the presentations and talks and side conversations that we're having, is inviting you to jump on this train. This is a signature initiative of Peter, the incoming director, and we are taking on passengers. During this February month of peace building and conflict resolution for Rotary, we are speaking to members of our team, including Peter, and some of the district leaders that we have been working with closely over the last couple months are speaking at PETS programs. We are speaking at district level conferences, at club peace and conflict resolution events, and we are eager to speak to you all at the club level, at the district level. We are eager to engage with your finance committees about how to make it all possible, and brainstorm in general with you as individuals and as clubs and districts. We are already working with 4 committed districts, as Patricia said, and excited to begin the work with them. The train leaves the station on March 1st. The reason is that we need to get prepared for an extraordinary year of youth peace in action. We need to do the work of reaching out to school superintendents, to teachers, and to other educational partners. And that work starts in the spring, almost immediately. So we're excited again to present this opportunity to you. Thank you so much for listening, and come join us on this train. I should also say there's information, I believe, in the chat that one of our colleagues is putting in there, Flavio Bolag, one of our teammates. And so with both the website, which is available, our web page, which is available on the Zones 33 and 34 website, we have a whole page and area for Youth Peace in Action, as well as some other materials and resources that might be helpful. We can also be reached at info@youthpeaceaction.org, and I think we'll also put our emails in the chat, so you have that, and we really welcome your questions and ideas and feedback.
Thank you, Anna, and thank you, Patricia. Great presentation. This is an exciting project, and I do hope that everybody will join the train. So with that, we now invite questions. David Stovall, our esteemed Zoom master, will moderate the question sessions. Either put your hand up, flick the reaction button, put a question in the Q&A. David, it's over to you.
Thank you, Peter. And we do have several questions in the chat box. It might be easier on the program if you have questions to just put them into the chat box. First question, is there a directory that we can access to involve with Peace Fellow alumni?
I'm
Yes, go ahead, Anna.
well, Chris can offer it, but I'm happy to say something as well. And then Chris, maybe you can follow up, but certainly you can ask directly to Rotary International through a great guy, William Rintz, who works with Rotary International for a Peace Fellow near you for that information. There is concern for privacy issues, so it's hard to just get a blanket list or database. We do, however, have a database of the 144 Peace Fellows who are in zones 33 and 34 of the last, at least up to the last time that was updated, and really excited to reach out to all of them and engage them in this Youth Peace in Action project.
Thank you, Anna. This
exactly.
next question, I'm sorry, go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, just Bill Rintz does have the database of those Peace Fellows that have agreed to speak, so to expedite some of that approval and protection of privacy.
And Chris, if you do have a contact method for him, if you could share that in the chat box for us.
I will.
Next question is also for Anna directly. Anna, can you address the portion of outward bound that Rotarians in District 6990 in Southeast Florida are involved in independently from the Youth and Peace in Action program, and how that fits into your program?
Okay, well, that's a very specific question. I hope I'm happy to take that maybe offline, but I'll just say that that I work for Outward Bound Center for Peace Building, which is part of the global community of Outward Bounds around the world. So Outward Bound is in 35 countries around the world. And there are, I believe right now, 13 Outward Bound schools in the United States. As Outward Bound Peace Building, we work directly with Outward Bound schools and other partners, in this case, Rotary and New Gen Peace Builders, to focus on building community and bridging divides using the Outward Bound experiential learning approach. I actually do know the Florida program because I had an opportunity to do a staff trip across the Everglades, which was extraordinary. And that's run by North Carolina Outward Bound School. In this case, however, we hope to be working with some of the Outward Bound schools in zones 33 and 34, which includes Outward Bound Baltimore, Outward Bound Philadelphia, and Outward Bound North Carolina, which also has the programs in Florida. So I hope that answered the question. My email is in the chat. Happy to talk more on that offline.
Thank you, Anna. This is for the group. The comment is from a past governor in the Carolinas. Clearly a great program, but with schools fighting to provide basic education and catch up due to COVID, how confident are you that educators will fully support this initiative?
Yeah, that's a fabulous question. My answer is incredibly confident. And here's why. Because throughout COVID-19, we have been running programs. And in fact, we have more demand than ever. So this morning we announced we have a new cohort in Metro Charlotte, starting with 100 students, which will bring the total number of Peace Builders certified in 7680 to 500 in the last several years. We have a program running in Birmingham, Alabama, that's 126 students, but then teachers are actually going through a peace education curriculum program. And then last but not least, I thank West Virginia for also showing us how much demand and interest this is. The DG there, Sean Sawyer, gave us an opportunity to talk to the head of social studies for all of West Virginia. And he said, these are the kinds of programs teachers want. They're hungry for them. They don't have as much access and opportunity to them as possible. And last but not least, Rotarians like Sean have great connections with superintendents and educators. We're seeing that in District 6900 already, tremendous demand.
Thank you, Patricia. Just a couple of information shares that were posted in the chat in case you're on a mobile device and don't have chat easily available. Rotary Zones 33 and 34 has what I feel like is a magnificent website, www.rizones33-34.org. There is a direct link in here, but rather than giving it to you, I will just tell you to go to that and you'll easily find the section for Rotary, Youth Peace in Action, along with a lot of other information about our our wonderful two zones. On the contact for the Peace Fellow list, that it's Bill Rentz, william.rintz@rotary.org. That's our staff contact, william.rintz@rotary.org. And Peter, I'm not seeing any more questions or posts in the chat. Wait a minute, there was an email address here. Hold on, let me find it back. Patricia or Anna, one of you shared your email address. I'm not seeing it right here. Would you just speak out your email addresses?
Sure, you can reach all of us at info@youthpeaceaction.org. And you can reach me specifically at A Patel, that's Patel, @youthpeaceaction.org.
Wonderful. Thank you all so much for being with us today. And with that, Peter, it's back to you.
Well, thank you, David. Thank you, as usual, for an excellent moderating session. Let me now pass back to my friend and colleague, Stephanie.
Thank you, Peter. Once again, let's share our thanks to our speakers today, past District Governor Chris Offer, our Peace Fellows, Anna Patel and Patricia Schaefer, and of course, Rotary International Director, Peter Kyle. They shared some great information with us today about opportunities in peace education. For those of you who may not have seen it yet, earlier today, President nominee Shekhar Mehta released his theme for next year, which is Serve to Change Lives. And of course, this initiative in peace education is definitely a way that we can all serve to change lives. I want to remind you that our next Zoom formation call will be on Monday, March the 1st. But listen, this is important. We're changing the time. Instead of at noon, we're going to move to 1 p.m. We got a little bit of feedback from some folks who have Rotary Club meetings at noon, and they requested that we change the time to 1. So keep the date on your calendar, but please change the time, and we will do our best to make that very clear in the Zoom invitations that will go out. In the Rotary calendar, March is the month where we celebrate water and sanitation and hygiene. So our program will focus on those initiatives. So I hope you'll be with us. Join us on Monday, March the 1st at 1 p.m. So as is our typical way to close, we're going to invite you to join us in the 4-way test. Of all the things we think, say, or do,
Is it the truth?
Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Have a great rest of the day, everybody. We'll see you March the 1st.